I appreciate you doing this, even though I know you are a private person. So if you want to use code name, you tell me.
Fabio.
No. You can use Columbo.
You okay with that?
This is a true story about what happens when a simple curiosity about heritage turns into a life-altering revelation. I'll walk you through what happened when a past I never knew about suddenly came crashing into my future. I'm Chelsea, and this is The Milkman's Daughter. Today's episode is a special one because I'm sitting down with my brother, who didn't even know he had a sister until way too recently. We'll talk about navigating our new relationship, swap first impressions from our very first meeting, and probably tease each other a little too much. I guess we'll just jump right in. So, do you remember how you first found out about me?
I remember exactly the moment because I was leaving work, and a couple of days earlier, Dad had tried to call me, and I was busy. Yes, didn't answer. So I was leaving work. I thought, oh, probably should try and call him back. So I call him, and he says I have some interesting news. I say, well, sure, you know, why not? He's like, did you already talk to Kirk? And I'm like, well, no. Should I have? Because I think he thought that maybe Kirk had reached out to me first.
Mm.
So anyway, I call him and he says, I think he just went right into it. He said, you have a sister. I said,
No breaking
well,
the ice.
I said, well, that's interesting. That goes with my response. So, I mean, because I'm like, okay. And to know him is to know that there's a weird story with usually a lead in of context that doesn't necessarily always make sense. I'm thinking there's some random story or some silly, stupid story. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where this is going. I'm leaving work. I'm just getting this, hey. And he kind of started telling me the story about how just, the whole process you've gone through. And, in a very abbreviated, as long as it took me to walk out of the building, get the vehicle and drive home. But yeah, I mean, I was just happened to call, and the timing of him having the news was, I think if I'd have waited 30 minutes longer, he probably would have called me, to tell me.
Did you think he was making up a story?
Well, I mean, at first I didn't know where it was going, but then I could tell he was very serious. I didn't doubt that it happened, or the information wasn't true at that point. I was just like, you don't have a sibling growing up, and all of a sudden they say, "Hey, guess what you do?" You're like, "Okay,
Was
sounds
that
cool."
was that hard to accept or wrap your head around, just the idea of it?
Well, I didn't have a hard time accepting it. I think it took me, and I even, God, what is this now? So that was of
Like a year and a half?
fall of 23.
Yeah. Well,
So
it was actually like December, or was it November? It was
it
like November, right?
was, I think, November-ish, if I remember right. Maybe right before Thanksgiving, 2023. And I mean, you and I have, talked a lot. We're communicate often. It's in no way, shape, or form have I not accepted. But even sometimes now, because you've gone, I mean, my God, we went our whole lives without knowing this existed,
Right.
and then I still find myself, just like going through my day, and then something will make me think of you, or someone will say something about a sister or sibling, and then it's like, oh yeah,
Yeah, I've
I
got
have
one of
a
those.
I have a sister, because
Right.
it's just not that I don't think it's any different with anybody else that probably grew up with a sibling all their life. You don't think about everyone every minute of the day of your life, but I find myself just like, oh crap, I
It's like
should
finding the
call,
language
or
for it,
yeah,
because you've never had that, so it's like you're having to rewrite some of your
right.
yeah.
Well, then there's some people that have known me, and they knew I didn't have a sister, and then I start saying something about my sister, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" You know,
Yeah, what do you mean?
hey,
Like, I know
sister.
you're a private person, but really? You never
Yeah,
shared
it's like,
that?
hey, you got any other family members? But so I don't. It's not something I have difficulty with. It's just sometimes it's the everyday. It's like I think of it. I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
remember you had, I'm reminded that it's just you got to went almost 50 years without having that
right,
vocabulary, and now I do.
right. So, did you ever have any? I mean, I know we talked pretty quickly, but did you have any sort of hesitation about connecting at all? Like, did you think maybe this is not?
Not from my standpoint. I was more um, concerned how you would receive me,
Hmm.
not necessarily me personally, but just I didn't know how private you were. I mean, I thought
Right,
you were
right,
you just finding out information and going, all right, now I know, thanks, and then
right.
going about your day. So I'm like, you know, I didn't know if reaching out was an intrusion or unwanted,
Mm.
or you just don't know. No, I mean, I'm sure you had no, similar feelings when you were reaching out. You're like, I don't know how this person's going to accept me. I mean, I didn't know you had to have felt that way.
There was more like I was in a state of just shock that took me took me a while to get out of that. I was thinking less about consequences and those kinds of things at the time because everything was just happening so fast. I found it out from the time I learned about it until the time that I found everyone. It was like 3 weeks. So I hadn't even really had time to process the reality of it all. And so when all of that was happening, I was just like, how much weirder can it get? It just kind of was trying to go with it.
So yeah, that was. I think I remember asking because he had your phone number, and I was like, well, I think I asked him. I said, if she would you ask her if she's comfortable or would be willing to, communicate with me if I could have her number. And he said yes, and I got it from him, and then I texted you. I think I was like,
Right.
hey,
Yeah.
what up?
What was your family's reaction? Like your
Like
wife
my
and your
wife,
family?
and yeah.
Mm,
I mean, I think just more. Of course, at this time you have to understand we were in Dallas and
yeah.
displaced for at that point about the eighth of 12 months that we were going to be there. So
Right.
we're already displaced. We're already living out of a temporary situation. It's anticipating coming back. So Aaron isn't. He's not there. He's in Lubbock at school, and so as I talked to him on the phone, his reaction was probably a little more surreal because he just wasn't directly involved. And of course, my wife was she was very supportive, and I think she was, like anybody was shocked. But
Right.
I think that's just a reaction from anybody that was involved would have that reaction to a degree.
For sure. What do you remember most about our first conversation?
Again, I was working a lot then. I was driving.
I
Like I
remember
texted
you were
you
driving.
I was leaving. I texted you as I was leaving work
Mm,
and said, hey, you got time for a call? I remember talking. I think I remember going over just your journey of discovery. I don't know that it's not that I don't remember the substance of the entire conversation, but it just seemed like there's a lot of different emotions. I was like, okay, I hear her voice.
right.
I'm hearing some information. I don't know you at all, so I don't want to.
Right.
You're choosing words carefully because I don't know what's uh, offensive, appropriate. I don't know what your sense of humor is. It's like all these things. I don't know.
I
I,
figured that out pretty quickly.
but I remember being more concerned of just caution in conversation that I was, just making sure I was not going to make you go, oh, going to
You were
block
being
that
very
number.
being very reserved at that
I
point.
block this homeboy's
You
number
were
because
really nice to me.
I'm
Like,
always
you
nice
were
to you.
so nice.
Still nice to you.
You're so nice.
So I don't know if I have honestly, between being really tired and just a flood of information, I don't know that I remember anything specific outside of. I know we talked about mainly about. I think I asked you to tell me about how how
Yeah,
you
I gave
came
you a
about
quick
finding all this out. Yeah.
I gave you a quick rundown of everything.
Mhm. So, and then of course, we talked very frequently ever since then. And then, they, oh my goodness, when did I drove to Tulsa?
Yeah,
I'm
I'm trying to
jumping ahead.
remember.
I'm answering all your different questions you're gonna
No,
have.
it's fine because that is from that point we started communicating pretty regularly and trying to figure out when because yeah, like at the time you were in Dallas, which is not a super far drive for either one of us, but you were working a lot and it was trying to figure that out. But yeah, I can't remember. It was December. It had to have been
Well,
right.
I can tell you exactly when it is because I'll look at the picture that we took when we
Oh yeah.
met in the when we went to that coffee shop, and the lady thought we were.
No, no, now you're jumping ahead. We gotta get there.
What's the date? Where's the thinking picture at? Keep talking, I'll find it.
I'm sure you will. Are you trying to scroll back through our conversation?
No, I'm looking for the picture that we took. That's in my anyway.
You're not very good at this. I'm gonna open mine up because I know how to find things.
Well, I was looking through my photo album. I can probably just look at the pictures that we've in our text messages, and that'll be here. I'll go back to the beginning of that.
Was it December? Was it January?
I just scroll through the text message. It takes me a couple minutes just to get through the last month.
I found it. January 10th.
Okay, because we texted, the very first time we texted was December 15th.
Yeah. Yeah, January 10th was the day that we met in Tulsa.
Anyway, there we go. If you had told me ahead of time, I could have been more prepared.
You knew about this ahead of time. Okay, so we met January 10th in Tulsa. We met at Lambrusco's Deli. So, what were your expectations before, or did you have any?
I don't know that I had expectations outside of, and this will sound weird because I know you and I've talked enough, and you wouldn't expect me to hear this from me, but what? Don't give me that face. Um, I was just more concerned of the when we met. You're like, oh, this guy's, the is there a level of disappointment? I guess from
Right,
you
right.
toward me, because I mean, you don't know. Oh, just
I get that.
yeah, you're like, just what's going through your head when we met or after we met, and I know we had been talking quite a bit at that point,
Right.
but it was,
But there's definitely a difference in like talking and meeting in person because say it's like it solidifies and even seeing pictures, you still can't put like a I don't know. There's just something about that. I think I know the answer, but were you nervous at all?
I don't think I was nervous.
Oh, come on, you weren't nervous.
I mean, not to the point where I was. I mean, my heart rate, I'm sure, was up, you know, but I wasn't like sitting in the park lot, hiding behind a car, going, "Man, should
Okay,
I just leave
no, I'll tell you
before
what.
she sees me?"
So I was nervous for different reasons, but you know what I was most nervous about? I was really nervous that I wasn't going to recognize you and I was going to walk up to some random guy. Just like, I know I've seen pictures of him, but am I going to recognize him in person?
Well, I don't know why. I don't know if you told me what you were driving or what it was, but I saw a vehicle pull in as soon as you got out. I mean, I knew it was you. I recognized you from the pictures.
Right,
So yeah, I can't say I was not nervous, but I was not overly nervous. I was,
right,
you know, it was one of these things that's like I was just ready to get that part completed because I felt like until we met, it was it wasn't real because
right.
not that it wasn't real, but it was like
No, I agree.
all the pieces were together.
I agree.
Yeah,
It kind of made like a it like a complete circle. We're able to, okay, this is real.
This is really
So
this is a real person. This is really happening. This it's
right,
like
right.
it all came together.
Exactly. So was there anything, during that meeting, anything that solidified, oh yeah, we're related? Anything that you can recall just being like, oh yeah, that's, I see that.
I don't know. I still feel like this more the more we this longer we know each other. I feel like a lot of times looking in a mirror, at least from a personality standpoint. So I knew as soon as when we met, I don't know, we just started saying things that were. You started saying things that were. I'm like, that's something I would say, or I just I
Yeah,
felt I felt that connection right away.
right.
That I knew we were gonna get along because we were enough alike that we get along, but not too much alike that we'd want to
Butt
fight.
heads.
At least not all the time.
I'll tell you what I remember is sitting there and you going, hey, you've got one of those too, pointing right at my wrinkle between my eyes.
Yeah,
That was
I think it's
great that you noticed that.
on the opposite side though. Mine's on the right. Yours is on the left.
Yeah. Still needs you to figure out that Botox thing.
Yeah, give me a
Help
little
me out.
shot there, a little
Yes.
filler.
Mm.
No, it was a good day when we met. Because it just kind of
It was good.
yeah.
You give a really good hug. You do.
Well,
That was a good hug, and it
that
was
was the
well
first. That's
needed.
the first impression hug I had to. I
You
couldn't come in there with.
had to come in strong. Yeah, no.
I want you
So
to hug me and you go, this guy's kind of, a little light, light in the wingtips there.
it's like when you shake someone's hand and it's a real wimpy handshake, and you're like, "No, come on, give me a real
Throw the
handshake."
dead fish in there.
Oh, that's the worst. There's nothing worse than shaking a grown man's hand and him handing me a dead fish. Like I'm like, come on, man, it's terrible. So awkward. Oh. So okay, so we met at Lambrusco's and we had lunch, and then we walked next door to this little coffee shop that was there, right? So we sit down at they had that little bar thing set there. So we just sat there and got some coffee and talk and ate biscotti.
Yeah.
But
Like a little brick with some weird flavor on it.
yeah, but wasn't she like just giving them to us? They were just like, "Oh, here's some."
Yeah, I think they were left over from the day before. They were
They're
stale.
hard cookies, anyways. I
They
don't
were
like
extra
them.
hard.
They were extra
Had
hard,
to get
yeah.
dental work done after that.
Oh, and that's right. And you didn't know what almond flavoring was. You were like, "What's that flavor?" What
What?
did
It
you say? You said it was like oregano. It's like the most
tasted
random.
weird.
It's
Had a
almonds.
very pungent taste.
It's almond flavoring.
It didn't taste like any almond I've ever eaten.
Well, certainly didn't taste like oregano.
It's bad.
Okay, so when we asked the lady to take a picture for us, I can't remember what she said.
Well, we handed her the camera, and I think you told her.
I didn't. I don't think I had said anything. I wasn't giving her any context. I just gave her my
Well,
phone.
I know, but you said, you looked at me and you said, or said to me, you're like, something to the fact of, I hope we don't get in trouble for
Did I?
taking this
I don't.
picture, meaning, that like we met and didn't tell anybody we were meeting
Oh, that's
because,
right. Because we didn't really tell anyone.
well, I didn't want like, a bunch of people showing up in Tulsa when we were meeting. I just wanted us to meet. So
Right.
it was like covert. I think you were the only one who knew I was coming. So, and she goes, "Oh, are you two not supposed to be together?"
Yeah,
I'm like,
is this
"Oh
a
my god!"
the what,
It's like a Coldplay moment, almost there.
I just remember thinking, oh no. No, this is my brother.
Oh, we just met
We
today.
just met.
She's like, "Well, that's a terrible story." She didn't believe us. She's like, "Yeah, whatever. I've heard that one."
Yeah, okay. No,
Yeah,
look at the line. See, we're related.
and that's my cousin over there. I just met him. Yeah, she
Oh,
didn't believe us.
she didn't. And
I
you
don't
were
care.
wearing the socks I sent you too.
It was.
Socks with my face on them.
Yeah, they're very itchy.
Are they? That's too
Yeah,
bad.
they're not very comfortable.
They're not good socks. I need to write that company and leave them a review.
Yeah, they were not an everyday sock that you would buy.
Not an everyday. Those are special occasion socks.
Just a Tulsa coffee shop socks.
There you go. Yeah. So was that the moment that everything kind of felt real for you, like meeting in person or being able to make it full circle?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it made me, realize that, like I said, it was just all the pieces were together. It, it was real. It was tangible, and I don't know. I guess I don't have the words, but it was complete at that point, where I felt like now we have a relationship that we can only make stronger at that point. Because I felt like it was just conversation, and then I mean, it was hard as well as I do. It's hard to have a conversation with someone without being face to face and
Right.
appreciating everything. I mean, the body language, facial expressions, whatever.
Right.
It attaches that realistic connection in your brain. Well, it's just like right now. I mean, we're able to see each other on these webcams,
Yeah, we'll have
and
to
it just
do it like this more often so can actually see face to face since we're
yeah.
not
Well, wait,
just right down the road.
right. Oh, yeah.
What's been the weirdest, funniest, or most surprising part of having a sibling?
Weird as surprising, or what was the other?
Funniest.
Funniest.
I think you could touch on each one of those. Certainly weird.
Well, I think I've already said the weird part, which is
Aw,
actually the good part is that we're so much alike.
I know.
So there's no denying, I think, our being related,
Right.
because I just it's too similar. So I think that fits almost in the category of weird and funny, because it's
Yes.
funny because just the conversations and the rabbit holes we go down when we talk are. I mean, I think I've looked down a few times when we've been on the phone, and we've had hour and 45 minute, 2 hour
Right.
conversations, and I'm like,
About
holy crap,
nothing.
this is yeah. I mean, we've talked about nothing. So my wife's always like, "What'd you guys talk about?" I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
nothing, absolutely
See,
nothing.
and that's been an interesting thing for me too, is having that kind of like, oh, we're really similar in a lot of ways that I wouldn't have expected either. Especially how right I am about everything and how you're just, yeah, you're right.
Well, that's because
It's pretty
I'm
great.
also right, because you're that much like me. So technically, I was right first, and then you
But
just
we're, yeah, definitely know who was right about putting holes in a ceiling and the right way to do that. Definitely
stuff's
the
still
way to
hanging up there, isn't it? It
barely.
did. It didn't fall down. Well, everything's
Not
barely
yet.
hanging from the ceiling.
No, not
Everything has the
done well.
potential to fall.
So this kind of leads into my next question. If we had met as kids, do you think we would have gotten along?
On
I
a,
mean, because you're 10 years older than I am. So I've thought about that. If we would have grown up together, you still would have been, 10 years older than me.
well, yeah, the math would have still worked out no matter when we met. So
Shut up.
I agree.
No, you know what I mean?
Oh, I think I told you this one time. I said it's a good thing we met later in life, because if we didn't know each other all our life, we probably wouldn't be speaking right now.
We probably would have argued quite a bit. I
Yeah,
can't
we'd
think.
have like, I can't take her anymore. I am cutting her off. No,
Probably.
I don't know. You have to. There are things in life happen that, well, everything in life that happens, quite honestly, are not in our control.
Hmm.
We are placed in those situations when the timing is right. And I just think, for whatever reason, the timing was right.
And that's been helpful for me to think of it in that way as well. Because I believe in God's timing and I know that I can think back on it and I have some what if, you know, what would it have been like? And, that's what it should have been. But that's also a good way to, you know, go down another rabbit hole of just
Well,
thinking,
there's nothing you can do about the past.
right.
And if you dwell in the past, you can't look forward. And all we have is what's in front of us in the present.
Mm-hmm.
And we take what's in the present and we make the best we can of it and in hopes that there is a future in it. So I think
Right.
that's just where we are. So I don't have regret that we didn't know each other younger, but I do have appreciation in the present and hope in the future that
That's nice.
going forward, we do have each other's life. So I would rather have that than to have had it early and lost it later, for whatever reason. So,
Right.
or have, I don't know if that makes any sense or not, but
I
all,
follow.
all I know is, this is where we are and we, live in the moment and that's all you can do.
I agree. So for you, if you could say, and maybe you don't, but has there been any of this that's been hard for you?
I don't think there's been anything hard about it.
Yeah.
Not, not, not from a standpoint of that it's been difficult because it hasn't been.
Right.
It hasn't been difficult at all. I mean, since the moment we began speaking to each other, I mean, everything has been had flowed very naturally. And I think again that
Right.
comes down to how similar we are and how just comfortable we can be in each other's presence. And so I think it would have been difficult if we would have been a lot, if our beliefs, our ideals, or whatever it would be, were so different.
Right.
That would have been difficult. But I no, nothing I would call difficult. Not in the relationship itself.
Right.
The thing that's difficult is probably the fact that the time we get to see each other, or at least the bulk of the time we get to see each other, and webcam, videos, and
Right.
so.
Because we
But
have
no,
to,
the relationship itself, no, not difficult.
yeah, I would agree with that. So, how do you see our relationship moving forward? What would you like ideally? I don't know if that makes sense. Where we are now versus, 5 years from now. What's your 5-year plan?
I need to put an outline up, um,
Pull up
PowerPoint.
chat. Yeah, pull up chat and have it help you.
I don't know. I don't have any expectations I'm placing upon the relationship other than that we just always have this.
Yeah.
That would be my only, I would hope in the going forward, we would just have a bond that's that much stronger. I don't know. I'm not saying it's weak now because I don't believe that at all. But, time creates strength. That's just, I hope that the just continues to get stronger.
My hope is that we can find more time to get together and
That, I would agree with that for sure.
because those, I mean, like you said, being able to be face to face and just hang out and do stupid stuff, those are the kind of things. If I had any sort of, and I don't like calling it regret because there's nothing, you can't regret something that you didn't have a choice in, but if there was something that I wished could have been different, it's to have had memories and been able to have an opportunity to create those. And so there's, like you said, it was, 38 years. And so it's like, I just want to make up some of that, make
Well, I
new
think
memories.
that's our opportunity now.
Right.
So I think that's where if I'll revise my statement of where going
You don't have to
forward.
revise.
Well, no, I'm gonna add to it of go. We're in 5 years time frame. It would be to have those memories or have look back now from that time frame and say, man, remember when we did this? Remember when so
Right.
which we do now, but we have a
Yep.
year and a half
We have,
window
yeah,
that
a
we
limited,
of videotape to look back at.
because that's when I get together with my other brother and sister, that's most of what we're doing is, oh, you remember when this and that. So those are the kind of things that make me a little sad, like that we don't have those little things like that. So yeah, anytime we've gotten together, and even just the stupid crap that we've done, like I'm so appreciative of just those little bits of memories that we're able to create from that. Okay.
No regrets. The regret is stupid. You know, you can't live in regret because you can't do anything about it. So you can't think that way about anything because if you live in regret, you can't build forward.
I agree.
I had that conversation with because Dad had talked to me about that when he's like, oh, I wish he's got 20 years on me, so
Right.
he's even further into his life going, man, I've only the time is limited theoretically more
Right.
for him than it is for us. So he looks back and says, man, I just wish that I would have. And I'm like, stop there because you didn't know.
Right.
You didn't turn your back on anybody. You didn't
Right.
dump anybody. It wasn't a choice you made to ignore. It was
Right.
a lack of knowing. So I said, you can't do anything about that.
And
So
I think
take
that's,
what you have now and move forward with it.
yeah. But I think that's some of that because nobody knew about it. So there's no one really to necessarily blame. Like, when I was first going through all of this and through my feelings on all of it, I had a hard time with that part of it because I really wanted to be mad at somebody and I didn't have anyone to really be mad at. So it was like I was kind of stuck in that a little bit of anger for a little while because I couldn't figure out who to be mad at. So I had to figure out how to move past that without having anywhere to place it. Because I mean, you're right. There's no one can regret anything because there wasn't anything to regret. There's no choice that was made that.
I don't think there was any malice in any of
Right,
the
exactly.
the history of this. So it wasn't an intentional hiding or abandonment, whatever. There's not none of that existed. So we just our paths finally came together, and here we go.
And here we go. So if someone out there was to find themselves in a similar situation, what advice would you give to them?
Embrace it
Mm,
because it's a rare opportunity because there's going to be I promise you there's thousands, tens of thousands of stories that these paths don't ever cross.
right,
That no one ever knew. I know there are. I mean, yes, there are people. There have been people over the history of the world, but it's if you have that opportunity, embrace it because there are some people out there that won't get that. There are some people that are looking for it that won't be able to get it, and they know that
right.
it's out there and they're trying to find it. So embrace it.
Let's see. I have this one. If you had to describe this whole experience in one word, what would it be?
Surreal.
That's a really good one. I have used that word so many times over the past year and a half. Like that has been like the word right there. Surreal, for sure.
You know, going back on my statement from earlier, talking about how I feel or how do I feel like about our relationship. I mean, even sitting here right now, I mean, I know me and my sister. I know that this journey we talked about, but it's still surreal even sitting here right
Mm-hmm.
now in this very moment
Yep.
because I look at this and I'm like, this is. I mean, every moment we talk about this or that we talk in general, it's very surreal because I'm like this just never existed before, so it's
Mm-hmm.
still very very new,
Yes.
and in the whole in both of our lifetimes, we're both. I mean, Mike, we were adults with families,
Right.
when we
Well
met.
into our lives.
Yeah, so it's like it's just surreal. It just as much as I know it's real, it's still not sometimes.
I
I don't
would
know.
I would absolutely agree with that. I think it's funny sometimes when we'll be talking and having a conversation and you'll just start laughing at me and say, "You sound just like me." I find that really funny. Because it's
Yeah.
usually when I'm doing something not real nice. Usually, it's usually when I'm being stubborn or
Yeah. Stubborn has gotten me a long ways.
sure it's held you back in some ways as well.
We all have our good and bad, and you have to just hope more good than bad is present at any given
I
time.
I don't think there's anything wrong with being a stubborn person as long as you can find some balance in there where you're not so stubborn that you're ignorant.
Well, you're right. That yeah, be stubborn to the point of standing for what you want, but when it's causing harm to yourself or those around you, sometimes
Right.
you have to say, well, maybe I need to back down. But and that comes with maturity. I'm certainly better. Yeah, I'm better now than I used to be.
Same. I don't know if my husband would agree with that, but I definitely think that I'm not as stubborn as I used to be.
I'm more selective, with
Selective
it's like they'll
stubbornness.
they'll choose your battles. If you don't
That
win you may not win the battle, but if you long as you win the war.
you're still being stubborn. You're just holding out.
I've got tons of sayings.
Oh my gosh. Well, anything else that you want to add here?
I don't know. There's still more of this book to be written.
Absolutely.
Just in chapter one. So look forward to future chapters.
Same.
I got some more cliches if you want.
You know, save them for next time. We can use them next time. Okay. Well, I think that wraps up everything that I thought about covering. I'm sure I'll think of something else. We can do it again.
Well, here's a question: How does what's I mean, we've talked about us and about my family a little bit. How are Matt and Evie? What were their reactions, thoughts, current situations?
Matt Matt's kind of one of those. He is like the ultimate supportive person. So from the get go, he was just super encouraging, and I mean that's just who he is. But yeah, there was in fact he kind of had his own. He's like, I knew it. I knew that. I knew he wasn't your dad. like, well, I guess I didn't. So wish you'd have told me sooner.
Now, why did you say something?
Why didn't you say something? But I think it's just funny because if and now of course seeing it, it seems so obvious, but I've for years looked at pictures of him because I didn't really know him, but seeing pictures of him and thinking, God, I don't look like him. Like I couldn't figure out where the similarities were, and I just have always thought, I'm not very good at seeing that stuff. I guess I just can't see that. Like because I thought, well, he's my dad, surely. But it's so funny now seeing you and really anybody else in the family and picking up little things like, oh, okay, I see it. Like I see the similarities now and why
Looking at the pictures of you and Tiffany,
I know.
cousin Tiffany, when you were. I mean, you showed me that one. I thought it was her. It was you.
Yeah, I know. It's
So it's
it's bizarre because that's even the same with my sister Tiffany and Cameron. I don't look a lot like either one of them either. So I've just kind of always I just favor my mom, and I do favor my mom, but now I'm seeing on both sides. I can see both sides of it, whereas before I couldn't. But anyways, but Evie, of course, we didn't tell her right away. We waited, and she's just that girl is all about family, and so for her, it was just like, wow, that's so cool. She just was open to it from the get-go and couldn't wait to meet everybody.
Like,
So,
when are they coming over?
yeah, she just like, when are we going to meet them? She was really excited.
Been an easy blending, I think.
Probably not what I was expecting, because I think I expected just a, when it really, and if I say with you especially, initially, of course, when I'm searching for everyone, and I've told you this, I couldn't hardly find anything on you because you're like social media dark. And so while I was able to find most everybody, I didn't know much about you. And I remember seeing our age difference, and then, of course, that you were a man. And I thought, I know guys. He's 10 years older than me. He's not going to care if he's got a sister. So I really was just kind of dismissive of that from the beginning, thinking that you wouldn't be open to it, and just kind of already thinking, well, that's not going to, like, whatever, we'll just see. So
After the first conversation, you're like, well, nice talking to you.
no,
Catch you, catch you some other time. See you at the reunion.
it was just after we talked, it was just so easy. It was an easy conversation, and knowing that you were open, I mean, obviously that made it easier on my end to be like, okay, we can do this. And then, I mean, I don't even know that you waited past the first couple days before you started making fun of me. So I thought, I wonder, doesn't have any siblings. So, like, is he going to pick up the sibling relationship? He's going to figure that out. And, when you start making fun of 3-year-old Chelsea and saying she has a big forehead, I thought, okay, he's got this. It's fine. Pestering older brother, you've got it. It's fine. Oh, this is going to be so fun to edit. Well, thank you. I appreciate you coming and doing this, and
I don't have to go anywhere. I'm sitting in my house. What are you talking about?
I appreciate you adding yourself into the conversation, figuring out how to use your computer. I know it's hard for you, but I'm glad you got it figured out. Glad you did it. And we'll do it again.
Forward to it.
Right on. Well, that, folks, is my brother. The guy I didn't know existed, but who apparently came preloaded with the exact same sense of humor and ability to roast me on sight. Honestly, it's like we've known each other our whole lives. And in true Columbo fashion, just one more thing. Finding him has been one of the best surprises in this whole story. I'm ridiculously grateful we found each other, and even more grateful he didn't run the other way after our first meetup. Here's to making up for lost years, discovering more bizarre similarities, and giving each other a hard time for the rest of our lives. Thanks for listening, and stick around because this family tree has a few more surprises up its sleeves. Next week, I'll be talking to my cousin Tiffany, and you won't believe some of the bizarre coincidences we found out about each other when we first met. Thanks so much for listening to The Milkman's Daughter and being part of this journey with me. If you've got a story of your own you'd like to share, you can email me at milkmansdaughterpod@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you. And before I go, I'd like to give a big thank you to Michael Stelzer for the beautiful original music you've been hearing throughout the show. It really gives the story its heartbeat.